Welcome to the 49 Yard Dash Podcast, a podcast on your San Francisco 49ers, hosted by myself, Stephen Ellis, and joined as always by my good friend and co host, Josh LaFond. Today, we're winging it. I've got a segment that's going to surprise Josh. Josh has got a lot of stuff that's going to surprise me, and we're going to see where it goes. So, with that in mind, we're just going to jump right into it. And I don't even know what we're jumping into, to be quite honest, but let's do it. Once again, we welcome you to the 49 Yard Dash Podcast. And Josh has swapped his hat and added glasses during the short break there. So
got to keep you guessing.
A quick look swap. I like it.
Hey, Steve, close your eyes.
Okay.
Open your eyes. Surprise number one of the night. And that was just an audible. That wasn't even planned. I don't know if you can tell, but it wasn't planned.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Off the cuff, man. Quite an audible.
Off the cuff, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to surprise you.
Okay.
Let's just get into this, man, because I'm looking forward to this. So I just wanted to play a quick game of Would You Rather.
Ooh, I like games. All right. I just said I like games. I don't know if I like this one here. All right. Give me. All right. Can I get my tequila first, or?
Yeah. You probably need it.
All right. Keep not wearing a lot of layers, but let's do it.
I got two simple ones, and then one that you really have to put some brain power into. All right. So let's start with the first. This is something we always debate as young teens getting into Madden, really loving when you first truly start to love the game of football. All right, would you rather be a quarterback who is a multiple-time MVP winner, has amazing career statistics, and you're recognized as a top 2 to 3 quarterback of your generation, but you never won a championship? You might think like a Dan Marino, or win 2 or 3 championships, but never be considered an elite quarterback, Eli Manning, something like that.
Sure. Trying to think if there's another quarterback, because I hate Eli Manning. Would you consider Ben? would you consider Ben Roethlisberger not elite?
I don't. He's not in the same tier as like Manning, Brady, Rodgers. Obviously, he's. Basically, I'm kind of asking
another. I would rather be Ryan Tannehill, Ryan Fitzpatrick with multiple Super Bowl championships than care a crap about statistics, because I'm a football guy. Yeah. I put the team first, and when I'm making my Madden league, I care so much about the team that I make myself 99 overall, so that I always win with whatever team I'm on, because I will not lose. I will not sacrifice. If it's in the team's best interest, I won't even hand the ball off to a running back. We don't even have a running game. I am the running game.
This sounds interestingly contradictory.
But I don't think it's really contradictory. I just think I'm a team guy, man. And I would take the championships. Screw the stats. What would you do?
I'm just a selfish guy, man. I'm just a selfish guy. I would rather be if I'm recognized as like the best of my generation, that's what I don't want to just be like another guy on a championship team. I want to be like one of the guys. But
that's why we always got to get you your touches.
Yeah,
tournament game, making sure Steve gets ball and flag football, man. Steve got to have his touches.
That's right.
If mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
That's right. No, when I play basketball more frequently than football. It's harder to get a group to play football, obviously. But when I play basketball, I do care about winning the game more than scoring points, for real. But I would rather be Dan Marino than Eli Manning, though. Like, personalities aside or whatever, just career paths. But that's just me.
Well, personality's not aside. I hate them both, because Eli's a stoner and Dan Marino's the biggest punk in the world's ever seen.
I don't know anything about Dan Marino's personality, honestly.
Well, he's all right on TV, but then you start reading stuff behind the scenes. So, pardon my take, the Barstool podcast, they have a yearly trip they did, well, pre-COVID. I think they're starting back up this year, where they get in their van, Vanny Woodhead is what they named it, and they go cross country on the Grit Tour. And of course, it's probably the biggest sports podcast in the world. Dan Marino gets invited to come on and just blows off all their questions. Dak Prescott did the same thing too.
Dang,
and
really?
then after he finishes the interview, in the van, kind of a goofy setup, he's like, yeah, how big is this podcast anyway? And they're like, yeah, we got like 3 million followers on Twitter and the number one sports podcast. And he's like, oh crap.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. They still crap on him. So I hate Dan Marino.
Dang.
And Eli is self-explanatory. He's just a doofus. He's a doofus.
I gotta admit, I do like watching Peyton and Eli on Monday, though.
Yeah, no, they're fun doing that. It's just
they have a good dynamic. But
that's why I asked you about Ben Roethlisberger, because Eli is like one of those guys who just benefited from generational defenses. And a head coach, one of the better ones in football in his prime, and Tom Coughlin. And then some good weapons, Jeremy Shockey and Victor Cruz, had some good teams. It's just him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's basically what the question is. Kind of like, do you want to be an elite quarterback but never win, or just a quarterback and win? But so.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No. Oh yeah.
I thought you would pick that one though. So.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that illustrates it. You ready?
Yep. Question 2. There are 2 prospects in an upcoming draft.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm turning on the air conditioning. I'm listening.
So, would you rather take an absolute blue chip stud cornerback or an absolute blue chip stud wide receiver? Essentially, I'm asking which position do you value a little more, because they're both increasing in their value the more the game becomes a passing league.
Yeah, I guess probably corner, because I don't think a great wide receiver can bail out the lack of an offensive line or the lack of a quarterback or the lack of a run game. But a cornerback, like we always talked about, how that they kind of feed hand in hand. The defensive line gets pass rush, that benefits the secondary. The secondary locks up the wide receivers, buys the defensive line more time to get home. So I'll go corner just because I think it benefits the team more.
I had the same line of thinking, and something that I heard today that also factors in. Look at what Jair Alexander just made in his contract, and look at Devontae. Like, paying an elite wide receiver is now $10 million a year more than paying an elite cornerback. So that you have to factor that too. So, those 2 were the more simple ones. But let's get interesting, okay?
All right.
I'm going to give you
school brain to work.
I'm going to give you 2 scenarios, okay? And you have to choose which one of these scenarios you would choose.
A Jew, a Catholic, and a Muslim walk into a bar. Is that where,
yes,
we're going? All right. None of the above.
You were just offered the job to be the general manager of the team of your choice. Any team in the league you want, you can be their GM. But if you accept, you will develop an extreme speech impediment. I'm talking water boy. So that is scenario 1. You get to be a GM, but, it's hard for anybody to take you seriously. Number 2, you randomly develop talent of Josh Allen, and you can sign with any quarterback needy team you would like. But
What?
Your neck becomes twice as long as Davis Mills.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Which
There's
scenario
a guy it's easy for me.
Okay.
It's easy for me. Me and Steve grew up with a kid. We hated him just because he's a schmuck. We used to call him Long Neck. And Steve knows exactly what I'm talking about. He still's got a long neck. You never go into a long neck. We hated this guy. He was the Dan Marino of the people we grew up with. And he always tried to buddy up to you. But no one liked him because he's a schmuck. And so I can't imagine having a neck longer than his. And Davis Mills' neck is pushing it. So if I got a neck twice the size of our long neck, dude, give me the speech impediment all day long. I think I lost you right when I did the voice, right when I said give me the speech impediment all day long. I lost you.
Oh, really?
So that was oh yeah. So I'm glad I got to hear the tail end of your laugh. But yeah, that was great. Much like I'm about to lose my speech, I lost the connection as well. I lost the connection from my brain to my tongue, and now I talk like this.
So you'd be a GM what would you with choose? The speech impediment then? Yeah, I think I would do the same.
Oh yeah, no, you can't.
Because I think you also have to consider the injury risks of having a neck that long in an NFL game.
I would want the injury. Break my neck.
Yeah, you could break a neck. I mean, we gotta watch Davis Mills because that's a risk he's taking every single Sunday.
Yeah. I tell you what would be really cool though is if your neck was that big.
Yeah.
And you had to wear the neck pad like the old school Ryan Urlacher or just but it was like two of them because your neck was twice the size. So you had a double padded neck brace and you were a quarterback.
Heck yeah. That would be awesome. Double padded neck brace.
That would be pretty sick. What would your number be if you were long neck? What would your quarterback number be?
I think 11.
You can't go traditional. Yeah.
I go 11 because 11, 2 ones next to each other looks like a long neck.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great, man. That's great. Yeah, no, I don't think there's another number you can go.
Yeah,
no, you gotta go 11.
It's literally a photo of your neck on your back.
And it's the worst number for a quarterback. One of the worst.
Yeah, no, I'm not an 11 guy either.
Yeah, I'm not a long neck guy.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
You got to take us take me through this journey, man.
I was about to, man. You step on me with your long neck. So I have seized control of the podcast here, and we don't have any cue music because we choose to not steal lead-in music like other podcasts that are now defunct that shall not be named. So our first segment we're going to call Riser and Fallers, kind of like a hot seat, cold seat kind of situation here.
This is the only one that you warned me about, just so everybody knows.
Yes. Yeah. And just because I wanted Steve to have a couple in mind so he wasn't putting long necks and speech impediments on the hot seat and then Dan Marino and Eli on the risers or whatever. So so we're gonna go 3 risers and 3 fallers. They can be a team, a player, a coach, fans. They can be anything to do with the NFL. So give me your first riser. Who's on the upswing?
Okay. So who do I want to pick? I did, as I always do, I over prepare. I picked 6 on both because I didn't want you to pick 3 of mine, so I wanted to have 3 backups.
How long did you want this segment to be?
No, I'm not gonna say all 6. I'm gonna choose my top 3. I'm just saying, I'm always overly prepared with this weird stuff. Okay.
Throwing one last neck joke. All right.
My riser. I'm going with the Philly Eagles, man. Go Birds.
Nice, man.
You got probably an easy one.
You got to say it in the Philly voice. Go Birds. Go. Oh my God!
I don't know how to do a Philly voice.
Really annoying and irritating, almost with a speech impediment. Go Birds! Yeah, there you go. Go Birds!
Go Birds! No, that was Southern, but was it? Okay, I'll take it then.
Right. Go Birds! There you go.
Dude, getting AJ Brown obviously is the big one, but and then being able to still snag Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean. They just signed James Bradbury, and after the draft, the only thing we were saying about him is like, they could use a corner. Well, they got one. Dude, this is a really, really good team. And I don't want to spoil this. I'll just say, even before the A.J. Brown trade, I think I was going to be higher on the Eagles than most. So now I'm really, really high on the Eagles. So go Birds.
Yeah. Go Birds. Yeah, the
Go
key to the
Birds.
Philly accent is perfect, man. You're getting it. You just got to
Sweet.
over-enunciate the vowels and skip over the consonants. Go Birds. Yeah, so the key with the Birds is we're not going to spoil the division rankings, but just a little cookie crumb, just a little crumb trail going back to Grandma's house.
Yeah.
No previous division winner in the NFC East has repeated in the last 17 years. Cowboys won it last year. Eagles have a loaded roster. They have a loaded roster. And with even bringing Jalen Hurts back, dude, you got to think that they're going to be in a good position to contend this year for that division.
I know. Yeah. Do you want me to do my set, or you want to go mono?
No, I'll go. Yeah, so you touched on him earlier. Jair Alexander.
Yeah,
finally got his payday, man. 4 years, $84 million.
Mm-hmm.
People were kept seeing on Twitter, people are crapping on it, well, that's where the Devontae money went. It's well, Devontae was already going to go. You've got a legit secondary now, and Jair really earned it. If Jalen Ramsey wasn't in the league, he's the number one cornerback and would have been for the last 2 or 3 years probably. He's been balling out, and he earned that extension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a great one. And one of the ones that I wrote here was Packers defense as a total is getting Jair back, adding Devontae Wyatt, and we'll see about Quay Walker. Your boy Rashawn Gary has become a stud. Dude, they have a really, really good defense, and it's going to be one of the better ones in the league, I think, the Packers. But my other one, I'll preface it this way. I'm not high on this player, but I have almost like a stock up kind of deal just because the situation around him has improved so much. So it's Tua, who I don't love. But no, dude, I don't love Tua, and I don't think he's going to be great. But I put him on here. I basically thought of this like a winner. Like he's the winner of the offseason because he's got – 2 receivers now that he can throw a 5-yard slant to that can take it 70 yards. I'm dead serious, though. He's not really even a riser; he's more of a winner. So that's how I was trying to preface it. He can throw to Tyree, he can throw to Waddle, he can hand it to Raheem Mostert. They signed Teron Armstead. Mike McDaniel's going to be very creative. Dude, that's going to be an easy offense to make explosive.
You're forgetting the key member of the offense.
Oh, no. Who am I forgetting?
River Craycraft.
Oh, true, man. True that.
Cry me a River Craycraft.
Dude, you need a sweet slot receiver between those 2 speedsters, man.
And he's white, which perfect. We've got another white slot receiver. We haven't had an Edelman, Wes Welker, Danny Amendola in a while, man.
I know it. Yeah,
Danny
he's the next, man.
That's Craycraft, man. He's the next one. He's got next.
Even though Hunter Renfrow exists, but still true.
Yeah, well, hey, no one cares about him. He's been balling since he came out the womb. I just am using my authority dictator power to rename the segment Stock Up, Stock Down.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Steve cracked the code. So,
sweet.
Stock up.
Yeah.
Stock up, Joe Burrow.
Ooh.
Joe Burrow, offensive line retooled.
Absolutely.
Like where he's going, man, he might not actually be killed. And you think it's man, if he had La'el Collins, he probably completes that pass in the Super Bowl for a walk-off win to Jamar Chase. So it's going to be tough for him to get back there, obviously. That goes without saying. The pieces just lined up
for every team,
perfectly. Yeah, Ben, the Steelers were in the unenviable position of having the face of the franchise for the last 15 years. And his last year, the Saints were with Breeze. You do better without him. But you got to have them and got to play them because what message does that send to the team and your fan base in the league and free agents and all that? So, and then the Ravens with their injuries and the Browns, that whole dilemma, everything lined up for the Bengals. Maybe will this year, but either way, that offensive line should at least, give them a really good shot in that division.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And I don't know if I want to do this one because I feel like it might be your last one. Is it your last one?
I don't know. Go ahead.
Okay, you can't just feel it?
No.
Okay, all right.
I think I know what it is, but go ahead.
Okay. It's Dan Campbell, baby. Forgetting a couple.
Thank you.
Dude,
Thank you.
Aiden Hutchinson and Pascal, man, they're going to be biting some kneecaps or running off the edge, man. Me and you talked just the other day about how apparently both of those guys are all business, working their butts off, and are really buying into that system and the culture, and it makes perfect sense. And honestly, when you look at it, like, I know, man, you didn't love Jameson Williams as much as everybody else, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is a great possession guy. You have DJ Chark, who's a little more of an all-around guy. Having a speedster like that and TJ Hockenson, Swift, great catching.
Don't sleep on Josh Reynolds. Don't sleep on Josh
Honestly,
Reynolds either.
You're right. Dude, the offense is it's not bad. It's really not bad at all.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll say this. Obviously, I'm not going to pick them to win the division, but they're not finishing last in the NFC North. I'll just say that. They're not.
Yeah, they're not finishing. They're not going to win the division.
No.
I don't think they're finishing last.
They're not going to be last.
I'm really trying my best not to give them away. But just look out for my comments about the Lions when we do our division rankings, because man, I got some thoughts, and it's big brain time, galaxy brain. But yeah,
awesome.
No, Steve touched on all of it. Love the Lions.
Awesome.
Stock down. I'll start this one off. Pete Carroll, that talentless.
Yep, that's one I put.
Screw him. Talentless roster, that fraud who abandoned your beloved Trojans, goes to Seattle and, falls into a great scenario, rebuilding, building talent. He didn't really do a ton with the roster. Now when he's charged with having to do everything, it blows up in his face. He says Drew Lock would have been number one in this. Well, of course he's going to say it, but dude, come on, man.
No.
You could have phrased it differently. This roster, we said it last year. I finally got you on the train that we thought their time was going to come. It blew up in their face. Well, it finally did. Yeah. So chew on that one, Pete. Put that one in your pipe and smoke it.
I wrote him as number 3, so this is why I made more than 3 options, man. All right, my number 1. Right. This is going to be controversial. The greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick, man.
Oh, yeah, screw him.
And it's mainly Bill Belichick as the GM, because I've heard this, I guess metaphor would be the right term, but Bill Belichick is becoming your 85-year-old grandfather that shouldn't be driving anymore.
Oh, yeah. God, I wish I knew how to screen share. Verbal meme alert. The Batman one, where it says you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. But it's Bill Belichick's face on Batman. And then it's Mac Jones is the kid he's talking to or whatever. That's the verbal meme.
Yes. Dude, Bill Belichick as the GM is looking rough right now. This roster stinks. I'm sure they'll win some games just because he still is an amazing coach. But the roster stinks. The draft was terrible.
Matt Patricia's your offensive coordinator.
That's where I was going next, is what the heck is going on with their coaching staff outside of him? What in the world? It's a disaster.
Yeah. No, there's a reason. There's a reason Nick Saban coaches, the Nick Saban coaching tree and the Bill Belichick coaching tree do not do well at their respective levels. Now, Nick Saban did come from the Belichick coaching tree, so there's your one abnormality. I hear you heckler in the back, but that's the thing. They just don't. And the reason why is they're so dictatorial. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's such a dictatorship, and it's hard to get the skills you need to not only attract top flight candidates, that aren't redemption projects like we see Saban do time and time again, Belichick bringing his guys back to the fold. I just don't know, man. It really feels like this roster and stuff, all they lost this past offseason. Now you're leaning on Mac and Damian Harris. Like, man, I find that hard to believe. They still haven't moved on from N'Keal Harry either. Yeah. So what are we doing with that? I didn't love their free agent signings. We didn't like their draft. You're leaning on a career defensive coach and the special teams coordinator who only had 1 year of offensive coaching staff experience, coaching the wide receivers and Joe Judge. Those are your co-offensive coordinators. I don't know how that is going to work out for you. Not only is there too many cooks in the kitchen in that scenario, but what kind of creativity are we going to have there? That just feels like it's going to be everything that wasn't a Josh McDaniels offense. It's just going to be simple, Belichickian, Saban-esque, ground and pound. We're not going to lose the game on offense. And in that division.
How'd that work for you in the playoffs?
Yeah. No, you saw it. Couldn't lean on Mac. Got creamed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they're a mess.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I just said they're a mess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, sure. So I want to hear your other two. So I'm going to lump these three all in together. Actually, I'm going to lump two of them in together because I had four because I've got one coach and three players.
Okay. All right.
So
you want me to just give my next two?
No. I'm just going to give this one, and then you give yours, and then I want to end on these two because the last two are 49ers players. Daniel Jones, he's done. He's done. He's done. And you've got to think if there was any competent, surefire first round. I do love Matt Corral, but they're not taking him in the first round. The Giants would have taken him this year, so it just feels like his time is done. And what a horrible pick that was at the time, anyway.
Oh, no one liked it, even at the time.
No, it made no sense. And it's showing up, and that's the reason I bring him up. Parlaying that from the Patriots, that kind of feels like to me the Mac Jones experiment. Daniel Jones has a decent rookie year after he unseats Eli, the same way kind of Mac did in preseason and stuff and in training camp, and just never developed past his ceiling, when he got there into a star ceiling. So Daniel was stock down and going to be out of the league.
Yeah, he's definitely, they are going to move on next year. I'm pretty confident in that.
Oh, yeah.
My next two, so you can end. All right, next one I wrote was Justin Fields. You never liked Justin Fields. I did. But the situation that the Bears have put this guy into this season is, I think it's going to be the worst supporting cast in the league. The offensive line is terrible. The only teams that you could argue were like the same level of offensive line were the Dolphins and the Bengals, and they both went out and improved drastically.
Yeah.
The Bears, the only thing they did was lose a guard to Pittsburgh.
Well, and both those teams, of course, the Bengals make the playoffs. The Dolphins were in contention as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So they had a more loaded roster. Bears are just completely torn up.
They trade Khalil Mack. So you lose your best player, I would say. You lose Allen Robinson. Like this, Justin Fields, he's going to be running behind the worst offensive line in the league, trying to throw to Darnell Mooney, and then they draft Velus Jones. Why? He's a 25-year-old rookie who never broke out at USC or Tennessee. 25 years old and never broke out in college, and that's who you picked.
Did you see the comment? I forget their new GM's name. The old one was Ryan Pace. I forget the new guy's name. But he sounds even more incompetent. Because the quote after the draft is, we got calls from a lot of teams during the draft that we drafted guys that they liked and they wanted. Like, who says that? That's like when you're out at the bar with your buddies and they're like, the bartender was flirting with me. And it's like, well, I got a few grandmothers that floated me their phone numbers. It's like, okay, what is that? That was a horrible analogy, but the point remains.
No, yeah,
what are we? Okay, it's like, all right.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody kind of stares awkwardly,
I personally think that the Bears are going to be in contention for the number one pick. I really do. And if they get it,
3 wins.
Right? Yeah, if they get it, take Will Anderson, and unless Justin Fields looks terrible, then maybe you take C.J. Stroud or whatever. But
yeah, so what? You trade Khalil Mack to take a younger, not as good version of him,
right? Yeah,
I
don't get it. I don't get it. And the last one I put, this one's just kind of funny. The Raiders. There's nothing wrong with them.
Right.
They're not bad. They just have to play in the AFC West. So that's it.
No, yeah. No, I was going to touch on them later, and I'll let you know when I do.
They're probably at least competing for it. But in the AFC West, I think they'll be fourth.
Yeah.
So
hold your thoughts on the Raiders because we're going to touch on them in a little bit in our last segment. So, again, touch on Justin Fields, developmental guy, no offensive line, no weapons. You got to get his stock down. I like what you said about the Raiders. I want your thoughts on them here in just a minute. Stock down, your thoughts. Trey Sermon, dead. Ty Davis-Price. Why do you pick the number 32 as a running back? Why would you pick the number 32? It's an ugly number. You're coming in, the fans aren't on board with you, and you pick one of the worst numbers I've seen in quite some time from a 49ers running back. As your jersey, you have unlimited options now, basically, and you pick the number 32. I hate that number. So Trey Sermon, he's done.
20s are significantly better than 30s for a running back.
Hot take, would take teens.
Ooh,
over
we haven't
30.
seen that yet, have we? That I know of. No. That would be cool.
I would take 40s for running back.
Dude, 40s on a running back, they always make them look huge, but it's kind of like an old school, like a 44 makes the dude look super intimidating, and he's supposed to be kind of a bruiser. That would be pretty. A 44? Wait, that's juice though, right?
Yeah, juice is 44. 42 would look good. 46 would look good. I'd take 48, old school middle linebacker kind of number. But yeah,
that's my number on MLB The Show. Just so you know,
48. Yep. Oh yeah, I forgot you're on board with that. We won't reveal your social security number. But for obvious reasons. Yeah, but 32 sucks. You're already losing me Davis Price. And then Trey Sermon, that Buckeye, he's done. I think at some point, and Shanahan ever writes a book, Shanahan, the story of the Bay Area's darlings. Whenever that biography comes out, once they're retired, Trey Sermon will be their biggest draft bust. I think they'll say. The fact we traded up to get this guy.
And he plays like one snap and fumbles the ball. That's obviously an exaggeration, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like if you didn't have Elijah Mitchell, maybe a committee with Ty Davis Price is fine, but I don't see where his touches are coming from. Because Ty, TDP, he's got more potential as a bruiser. Trey Sermon's much more of a zone runner, more finesse, although he should be power. And then Elijah Mitchell's kind of got that Shanahan style that you love to see hit the hole and go. So
I like
that's a third round pick we wish had back. Thanks, man.
True that.
All right. So this segment, it might be one and done. We'll see. This isn't one of these ones we're going to say we're going to try it out. Steve, as he gratefully admits, he's a humble man. Fans at home, he's a humble man. A lot of humility. He's a good man. However, he knows jack squat about celebrities, pop culture, or anything relevant in the world aside from sports. So this game is celebrity or Hall of Fame. So it's either going to be a celebrity or someone who is in the Hall of Fame from any era.
The NFL Hall of Fame?
Yeah, the NFL Hall of Fame. I'm not going to do that to you. Come on. Now.
Okay.
But you're not going to know any of these names.
Okay.
First name. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through. I'm going to check which one you guess. And I've got 5 groupings. So there's 10 names in total. We're going to go 2 names in no specific order. One's going to be fake. One's going to be real. We're going to name them all together, and I'm going to check which one you guessed, and I'll let you know how you did. Okay.
All right. You
got to shout it out though. Okay.
Okay.
Gale Sailors, Bill Capri.
Repeat the first one.
Gale Sailors, Bill Capri. Which one's the celebrity and which one's the Hall of Famer?
I think Sailors is the Hall of Famer.
Okay. Kiefer Sutherland, Norm Van Brocklin.
I think Van Brocklin is the Hall of Famer.
All right. Art Monk, William Harrison.
William Harrison, Hall of Famer.
Okay. Fraser Crane or Dave Casper?
Dave Casper, Hall of Famer.
Okay. Warren Buffett or Reginald White?
Warren Buffett is the actor, celebrity person. No? Holy crap. That's the one I thought I've heard of. Oh, crap.
Warren Buffett or Reginald White?
I thought I answered that already.
Yeah, so you want Reginald White. Okay. And what did you say Warren Buffett was again?
I thought he was the actor or celebrity or whatever.
Yeah, well, he's not an actor. He's the owner of Dairy Queen. and is an entrepreneur, and he's 80-something years old. So you did good on that one. You actually did a lot better. You went. Well, you know what? Let's just name them out.
Okay.
So Bill Capri or Gale Sailors. You guessed Gale Sailors. That answer was correct.
Okay.
Hall of Fame running back from the 60s. Bill Capri also goes by the moniker Kodak Black. Kodak Black, when you see me, I'm white.
Oh, he's a rapper?
He's a rapper. That's Kodak Black. Bill Capri.
Okay.
He's a young
I'll be honest.
With the name Bill.
Kodak Black, I don't know who that is, so
I
can tell it's a rapper though, like just by the name.
Well, what did you want me to say? Kodak Black or Gale Sailors?
No, yeah, I understand. I'm trying to help the people realize just how lost I am.
No, you're doing good. So Kiefer Sutherland or Norm Van Brocklin?
I said Van Brocklin.
Norm Van Brocklin. That was correct. Hall of Fame quarterback. Kiefer Sutherland is an A-list actor in Hollywood. His father's Donald Sutherland. Kiefer's played in such movies as The Show 24 and several other feature films. He's a very famous actor. Art Monk or William Henry Harrison. You guessed William Harrison, and that is the 8th president of these United States, William Harrison. So Art Monk is a Hall of Fame wide receiver. So that's your first strike. This was the one I thought I got you on. You thought long and hard about this one. Fraser Crane or Dave Casper? You guessed correctly. Dave Casper is a Hall of Fame tight end. So we're 3-1 right now. Fraser Crane is played by, you'd think I put the actor's name, Kelsey Frazier, who is, it's a sitcom show. So Fraser Crane is the lead character in a 90s sitcom.
It's just called Frasier. Yeah, I've heard of that show.
It's called Fraser Crane. Yes, but you meditated on it, which I really thought I got you. And then, of course, Warren Buffett. Of course, we all know him as a famous actor and celebrity. Yeah, he's Bill Gates' BFF, that old pedophile. Yeah, Warren Buffett. Yeah, he's old and decrepit, and he's involved in horrors that we would never sleep again if we knew even an ounce of what this man was into. But he owns Dairy Queen. And he plays the stock market. So yeah, but you did really good. 4-1. 4-1.
Yeah, all
right. We might bring that segment back because
I liked it a lot.
The cool thing about Steve is the knowledge of pop culture is so limited that we can keep doing this, and you might go 5-0 because you did really good. And there's hundreds of Hall of Famers. So
yeah. No, that's true. I like that. That was good.
Great job.
I didn't recognize really any of them, except I did. Warren Buffett. I mean, that I've heard that before. Obviously, I didn't know what he was, but
here's a question.
Other than that, 9 out of 10 names, nothing in my brain. It was just guessing. But yeah,
it's spelled buffet. Do you think that he, at one point in his life, wanted to be called Warren Buffet? And just couldn't get people to like how you want to be called Steven, but so many people call you Steve that it just doesn't catch on fully. Do you ever think that there's a possibility that he wanted to be called Buffet?
I think I would if I was in that scenario. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Warren Buffet. Mr. Buffet. Yeah, I like that. I could do that.
Mr. Pedophile Warlord. All right, moving on to our last segment here. All right, this one, we got our stock up and stock down, our celebrity, our Hall of Fame. We had Steve's spin the bottle.
Would you rather?
Would you rather? I was going to say truth or dare. Would you rather? All right, dead or alive?
Ooh.
Not celebrities, because I really wanted to do celebrities. Dead or alive, just name a bunch of old people and then just guess, like Bob Barker, dead. Dolly Parton, alive. But all right, so this is figurative. So it can be the same thing as stock up, stock down. But I'm going to ask you, I'm going to name a player, a team, a coach, fan base, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
I'm going to name them. You tell me dead or alive. Are they sinking or are they sailing?
Okay.
There's your segment name. Sinking or sailing.
Okay.
The Raiders. Expand your previous thoughts on the Raiders. Are they dead? Are they toast? Are they putting the kibosh on all their hopes and dreams, or are they alive?
I'll say dead. If I have to choose between the two, and not even because I don't think they're a good football team, because I do. I do think they're good, but I just don't think they're better than the Chiefs. I don't think they're better than the Chargers. I don't think that they're better than the Broncos. Now they have Russell Wilson, and it stinks to have a good football team be fourth in a division, but I think that's what's going to happen. As wild as it is, Derek Carr is the worst quarterback in that division, which is just wild. I think they have the worst offensive line, which is wild, and they probably have the worst defense, again, which is wild. They're just in a ridiculous, maybe the best division we've ever seen. So due to that, they are sinking. They're dead.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That division's so top heavy. It's like the AFC North on steroids.
Yeah, man.
Their peak.
It's unreal.
And imagine if it was still only 2 wild card teams, how you would make that work. I mean, God, there'd be so many guys losing their jobs.
Yeah. No, there are going to be some really good teams in the AFC to miss the playoffs this year, for real.
Oh, yeah. And kind of like what you're saying, not to get too much into division picks, which hopefully we get to next week, have Luke on. I think it's very reasonable to conclude all 3 wildcard teams come from this division.
That could happen. It absolutely could happen. Yeah.
We shall see. All right. You ready for the next one, homie?
I am.
All right. Dead or alive? Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, man, that's okay. That is a tough one for real. I'm glad you asked this one because it is tough. Because I do think he is a solid starting quarterback in the NFL. But I'm going to say sinking, soon to be dead. And my reasoning.
Jack or Rose?
Is he Jack or Rose?
Yeah, I guess Titanic.
I guess he's got to be Jack. He's temporarily there, but not for long.
All right. I like it.
Yeah, he's temporary. Dude, real quick, speaking of that, I'm assuming you got the last idea from that tweet that I sent a little while ago to those podcast guy where I said I'm the friend in our group that doesn't know anything about pop culture. And there's Benjamin Solak is a guy. He works for The Ringer. Yeah. He's on their podcast, and his last episode with them, because he's specifically a draft guy, they were making fun of his lack of pop culture knowledge. And they were asking him movies that he's seen. And they were like, Godfather. And he said, no. And they said, Titanic. And he goes, yeah, I understand. I've seen bits and pieces. I know it happens. And then one guy just says, yeah, Titanic, boat sank. Like, like that was their description of the movie. The movie where, the boat sank.
Yeah. No,
I really got off topic, and I don't remember what.
No, it's all right. Yeah, no. Talking about Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, I just think, especially trying to replace A.J. Brown with Treylon Burks, I don't think is going to go well this year. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to take a step back. And next year's supposed to be a good quarterback class. It wouldn't shock me at all if they try to move on.
So they just took Malik Willis too.
Oh yeah, I forgot. What am I talking about? They just took Malik Willis. I guess for some reason that slipped through my mind. Sorry. That could be the plan. They could be trying to go Malik Willis next year, even though I think he needs probably even more than a year to sit. But still, I'd have to lean sinking, dead soon.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, there's talks of them building the new stadium and stuff. I guess they're about to break ground on that whole deal in Nashville. Mike Vrabel's not ever going to be in job security. I don't think he's going to have that job as long as he wants it.
Right. He's awesome.
But that fan base they're going to be clamoring for a change if Tanny comes out and just can't deliver.
Yeah, I think so.
Willis probably needs a couple of years just because of how raw he is. And honestly, he reminds me a lot of Justin Fields in strengths and weaknesses and things, but he's going to need some time. The same I thought Justin Fields would need a year or more. But man, if Tanny starts out slow, you give the job to a rookie, you don't take it back.
Yeah, right. You just can't do that.
No, you can't. Got a couple more for you. You ready?
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Mike McCarthy, Dallas Cowboys head coach, dead or alive?
He's dead, man. I think they're going to underperform again. You had the interesting stat earlier. You said it's been 17 years since someone has
17
repeated.
years.
Wow, I
Yeah,
did not know
17 years.
that. But no, I don't think Dallas is going to be any better than last year.
Yeah.
They might even be a little bit worse than last year. I don't know. Their offensive line got a little bit worse. I think they're gonna. It's gonna be the same old story where they're kind of hyped up just because they're America's team, and they'll be okay and disappoint at the end of the year. And I think Blaine is going to go to Mike McCarthy, and he's going to be out. I really do think this is his last year in Dallas, actually.
No, I agree with you. And Sean Payton's on the open market. That whole Miami
yeah.
go, allegedly he's always wanted the Cowboys job. Maybe he goes that route. But thing with McCarthy, man, like you talked about, Pat McAfee made a good point that because that's where I heard it was on Pat McAfee show today. And the Cowboys always have the deepest, most loaded roster. I mean, Romo's the quarterback there since 07, 08. So the majority of those 17 years, they've had a loaded roster. You had Jason Witten in his prime. You had DeMarco
Murray and Des Bryant too.
I was gonna say Ryan. Yeah, that's thinking DeMeco Ryan, DeMarco Ryan, DeMarco Murray, Des Bryant. You had and then that offensive line that they had.
Dude, it was always sick.
Yeah. Dak Prescott on a rookie contract. Man, it just feels like they always are so loaded, but whether it's a Jerry Jones thing or coaching thing, I don't know. But you got to think, like you said, I'm not going to bet on McCarthy to repeat.
Oh, no. Me neither, man. No.
All right. Well, we'll go this route. We got two more. Christian McCaffrey.
You know,
dead or alive?
I'm going to say McCaffrey actually is one of the rare cases where he comes back from injury and is really good. And I'm probably being overly optimistic. I don't know. But I feel like I've been negative. So I'm going to take a positive spin here. And I do think it's not impossible for this to be true anyways. But, yeah, I'm going to say he gets back to form and he's super great fantasy asset again and all of that. And he'll be able to turn around and get back on track this year. Yeah, I'm going to say he's alive.
If you're going to trade for him, what do you think his value would bring? Hit with him healthy right now, knowing everything we know. What do you think his value would be?
Even if he is 100% right now, I think teams would be scared of the possibility of it happening again. And running back is generally viewed as maybe the least valuable of the 22 positions even. Maybe not, but honestly, I bet it's like a third-round pick, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been irritated if, we did our first mock. I had the Ravens.
Yeah, I remember that.
If he's healthy. Yeah. I don't think a contender that's, in a position they just need, another asset. Had the Bills
freaking Rams.
The Rams for real. No, had the Bills not taken James Cook, I thought that was a perfect fit.
Man.
Maybe a team like that, a second-round pick, end of the first-round deal if Christian goes out and balls this year. But, he's the only one on this list that I had alive. Sinking or sailing, whatever you want to call it. He's the only one I had alive. Last one, and I'm not even going to comment on him. I just want you to go off for the last few minutes of this episode. The Cardinals.
Oh, man. Yeah, they're sinking, man. I'll tell you what, they're sinking.
Go off, King.
Dude, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Cliff Kingsbury blowing it at the end of seasons is not a new thing. I mean, that has gone all the way back to Texas Tech. I want to say A&M at first.
No, he couldn't get that job if he wanted.
Yeah, right, yeah. No, I mean, even at Texas Tech, they would always collapse at the end of the season. And last year, it was kind of weird. We all wondered why they got all these old players Well, after what's kind of happened over the course of the last few months, it kind of seems like, well, maybe they did it because Kyler Murray isn't a natural leader and they wanted some leadership on that team.
Mm-hmm.
J.J. Watt, A.J. Green, these veteran guys that I don't know if J.J. Watt is washed, but he's definitely not what he used to be. There's no doubt about that. And Kyler Murray I don't think he's not Joe Burrow with the intangible stuff, anything like that. Obviously not Tom Brady with the intangible stuff. I just don't think he's a leader or a real winner. And I don't trust Kingsbury. I don't trust the front office. They trade a first-round pick for Hollywood Brown, which is higher than Hollywood Brown was even drafted, which is not how it should work if a guy has underperformed at this point in his career. Just nothing they really do makes any sense. They draft a tight end after they get Zach Ertz. Why? Why are they doing this stuff? They're not a good organization. That's pretty much.
I think their ownership cares, and people always crap on the Lions this way, and it makes me upset because they're like, "Oh, the Fords don't care about winning; they just want the money." No, they do care.
Yeah,
they really care. They just don't know football.
Yeah,
like they don't know, and they just get infatuated with a guy who blows them away in an interview because they're so corporate minded. Oh, this guy interviewed well; he's got the resume, but their football gut doesn't tell them. You're making a horrible decision hiring Matt Patricia, and Bob Quinn, the package deal, to come be your head coach. It's not until, they finally hit on Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, it looks like. But it's the same thing, with the Cardinals. I think they do care, and I think the owner does want them to win, but they just, for whatever reason, just have that corporate mindset, and they can't get over the fact of a guy interviewing well. And it's like Cliff Kingsbury got fired. He did not leave Texas Tech for the NFL. He got fired and was hired to be USC's offensive coordinator. People forget that.
Yeah.
Clay Helton hired Cliff Kingsbury to be his offensive coordinator, got the memorandum of understanding sent to him, which is basically a written agreement that's not as binding as a contract, but basically says you agree to terms. We're going to send, you're coming to us. It's basically like a handshake without the physical handshake.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the Cardinals are like, "Oh, hey, let's hire you."
Yeah.
What is this? What is this? So
it's
I've been
wild.
looking it up. Yeah, no, it is. It makes no sense. I don't understand. And Texas Tech isn't a horrible job either. There's talent out there. You got Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You have the state of Texas to recruit from.
Yeah.
So this one is pretty funny. 2013, this is my favorite Cliff Kingsbury season ever. 2015 Texas Tech. Week 1, beat SMU 41-23. Beat Stephen F. Austin 61-13. Beat number 24 ranked at the time TCU 20-10. Beat Texas State 33-7. Beat Kansas 54-16. Beat a really good Iowa State team 42-35. Went into Morgantown, West Virginia, and beat the Mountaineers 37-27. So they start out 7-0. They then proceed to lose to Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Baylor, and Texas. So they go 7 and what is that 5 at this point, and then they win their bowl game. That was their best season under Cliff Kingsbury. It was 8 wins with a loaded roster, with an absolute loaded roster. Patrick Mahomes is your starting quarterback this year.
Yeah,
and you go 8-5. He then goes 4-8 the following year after he starts out. I just had it pulled up. Bear with, but we both hate this guy, so it goes without saying. 2014 goes 4-8, starts out, wins 2, loses 4 in a row, so he's known for his losing streaks. 15, 16, 17, and 18, he goes 7-6, 5-7, 6-7, 5-7. So he only makes a bowl game 2 out of the next 4 years, and a fairly easy conference, and he wins 4 out of his first 5 games every year.
Man, I don't know how this guy got an NFL job.
No.
It doesn't make sense. The resume just is not there.
it does not make sense. With the Cardinals, of course, his first year, it was rebuilding. They go 5-10 and 5-10-1. They tie the Lions week 1. But then you look at the year he goes 8-8. They start out, beat the Niners, beat the Commanders, so they're 5-2 at this point before the bye. Then they collapse down the stretch, go 8-8. You look at last year, pull this one up quick.
They were 8-0 or whatever.
2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 7-0. Lose the Packers, beat the Niners. So you're 8-1 at this point. You're going into the bye week 9-2, and then you beat the Bears, lose the Rams, the Lions, and the Colts. Beat the Cowboys on a walk-off field goal, and then lose by 8 points to a horrible Seahawks team.
It's terrible.
So you go 7-0, and then you lose, 6 out of your next.
And that's his track record. That's what he's always done. I will say this: the one positive thing that comes to my mind that Steve Keim, the general manager, has done, is in the 2018 draft they took Josh Rosen, 9th overall or 10th overall, whatever, either one, something like that.
Top 15 pick.
Yeah. A year. He's there for a year, and they realize that they picked the wrong guy, and they move on. The guy that we just bashed his leadership, but obviously he's super talented, a top 12 quarterback. So I do respect that, admitting, hey, we missed. We got to take this other guy because we just missed on this. I do respect. Not many organizations would allow the entire world to know that we screwed up last year with that pick. So I do respect that. That was a really good move, but there aren't many moves that Arizona has made in recent memory that you can say that was great.
No, and tried not to ramble with the speech impediment that I developed earlier when I took the general management job of the Arizona Cardinals, and then promptly fired Cliff Kingsbury and sent
Smart man
Kyler Murray back into the Athletics. People forget he's drafted in the top 10 by the Oakland A's. Number 6 overall. So, they just make a bevy of horrible decisions in front office, or not front office, but in coaching staff maneuvers and personnel. I think they have ownership that wants to win. I think, like you said, their GM, he's got the ability to do it. But it just feels like Cliff Kingsbury, a guy who has clearly well, for you to have that much of a late season collapse consistently, you don't have leadership skills. You don't have the ability to rally your locker room after a loss. And even mediocre coaches have that ability just to tread water. Jeff Fisher was better at that than anybody. Win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. Cliff can't do that. So, man, it does. Parting thoughts on the Cardinals. I don't want to get your parting thought. I'll end with this. If they get bounced in the first round, or there's a scenario where I don't think they make the playoffs this year.
It's possible. It is possible.
Yeah. If they get bounced in the wild card game, because I don't think they're winning, they're not going to – they're going to be in the wild card for sure. Not even going to play around here. But if they get bounced in the wild card game, man, you got to think Cliff's gone. And there's some serious talks about what are we doing with Kyler.
Yeah, no, there has to be. With that many late season collapse, you have to make adjustments. It's just you're not doing your job if not. So,
yep. All right, man. Well, that's all I got for you.
That was awesome. I would like to keep that the middle one where we make fun of my lack of pop culture knowledge. It's pretty fun.
Let's do it, man. You know what we should do when we have a guest on? We'll save that segment for then. And I'll send them the questions ahead of time and get their answers.
Oh, yeah.
So then you can answer it live, and we'll already have theirs, and then we'll compare.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. Get a normal person and compare me to them. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Man.
Hey, and we said this last week, but Luke claims that he will get on with us next week. We were supposed to do divisional predictions today, but midday, probably 1 o'clock or so, he texted me and said that he couldn't after all. So maybe we'll get to do it next week. So we'll have that for you. And maybe we find an opportunity, if time allows, to make fun of me then. So we'll just have to wait and see next week. Yeah, I would love it too. Yeah. But that's all we got planned for today. Fun off-season stuff. We'll go to our fact of the week, and then we'll end.
Thank you. We're not going to forget that because this is a good one. I was saving it for Luke. But what the heck? We're going to go nuts. Fact of the week, the average fart travels at over 7 miles an hour.
Holy crap.
Literally, holy crap.
That is a good place to end it.
It's been real. It's been fun. But it hasn't been real fun.
Legendary quote to end this thing. We'll see you all next week. This has been the 49-Yard Dash. Thanks for listening. I'm Steven. That's Josh. And peace out, everybody.
Warren Buffett's a colonel.